This is why you need to put on your headset, close your eyes, and listen closely. Today we're diving into a controversial topic, the signs of a silly woman. Now, let's be clear, this isn't about intelligence, but rather behaviors that can be perceived as foolish or unwise. We're talking about those head-scratching moments when you think, bless your heart, what in the world were you thinking? Look, I'm not here to judge anyone, but I'm here to tell it like it is. We've all seen it. The woman who keeps going back to the same no-good man, the one who can't seem to manage her money, the one who's always the victim of her own bad choices. These behaviors can be frustrating to watch, and they can certainly lead to a whole lot of drama. So if you're ready to get real about some common signs of a woman who might be making some questionable decisions, buckle up. We're about to break down 6 red flags that might indicate someone needs a serious dose of reality. Remember, knowledge is power, and sometimes a little tough love is what it takes to get someone back on track. First up, ignoring red flags in relationships. This can lead to a lot of unnecessary heartache and trouble. You know what I'm talking about? Those glaring warning signs that a relationship is headed for disaster. He's got a wandering eye, a history of cheating, or maybe he just gives you a bad feeling in your gut, but do you listen to your intuition? Nope. You explain it away, make excuses for him, and convince yourself it'll be different this time. And then, surprise, surprise, you find yourself blindsided when he breaks your heart. Look, I get it. We all want to see the best in people, but honey, sometimes you got to take off those rose-colored glasses and see the situation for what it really is. Ignoring red flags is like walking headfirst into a brick wall and expecting not to get hurt. You're smarter than that. Trust your gut, pay attention to those warning signs, and don't be afraid to walk away from a situation that's screaming trouble. You deserve better than to be someone's second choice or to be treated like a doormat. Remember, you teach people how to treat you, so set the bar high and don't settle for anything less than you deserve. Next, constantly seeking validation from others. This behavior can undermine self-confidence and lead to poor decision-making. Listen, we all need a little reassurance now and then, but when you're constantly looking to others for approval, it's a sign that you don't value your own opinion. You're letting other people dictate your worth, and that's a recipe for disaster. Think about it. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Constantly seeking validation is like handing over the keys to your own life and letting someone else drive. You're giving away your power and you're setting yourself up for disappointment. It's time to take back control. Start by identifying your strengths and accomplishments. What are you good at? What are you proud of? Focus on building yourself up instead of tearing yourself down. Remember, true confidence comes from within. It's about knowing your worth, owning your strengths, and not needing anyone else to tell you that you're good enough. Third, lack of financial independence. Relying entirely on someone else for financial support can be risky and limiting. Now, I'm not saying that every woman needs to be a CEO or a millionaire, but having your own money and being able to support yourself is crucial. It gives you freedom, it gives you options, and it gives you a sense of security that you just can't put a price tag on. When you're financially dependent on someone else, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. What happens if the relationship ends? What happens if your partner loses their job? Suddenly you're not just dealing with a broken heart, you're dealing with a financial crisis on top of it. It's never too late to take control of your finances. Start by creating a budget, tracking your spending, and looking for ways to increase your income. Even small steps can make a big difference over time. Remember, financial independence is about more than just money. It's about having the power to make your own choices and create the life you want. Chapter 4. Fourth, poor communication skills. Misunderstandings and conflicts often arise from not being able to express oneself clearly. You know the saying, communication is key? Well, it's true in all aspects of life, especially in relationships. When you can't communicate effectively, you're setting yourself up for a whole lot of unnecessary drama and heartache. Think about it. How can you expect someone to understand your needs, your desires, your boundaries if you can't even articulate them yourself? Poor communication leads to assumptions, misunderstandings, and resentment. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. It's just not going to stand the test of time. Good communication is a skill that takes practice, but it's a skill worth developing. Start by being mindful of how you communicate. Are you being clear and direct? Are you listening to understand, or are you just waiting for your turn to speak? Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's about expressing yourself clearly and respectfully, but it's also about being a good listener and trying to see things from the other person's perspective. Chapter 5. Fifth, neglecting personal growth. Stagnation in personal development can lead to a lack of fulfillment and opportunities. Life is a journey, not a destination. We're constantly evolving, learning, and growing. But when you become complacent and stop challenging yourself, you start to stagnate. You get stuck in a rut, and life starts to feel pretty dull. Think about it. When was the last time you stepped outside of your comfort zone? When was the last time you learned something new or tried something different? If you can't remember, it's time to shake things up. Neglecting personal growth is like refusing to water a plant. Eventually, it's going to wither and die. Make a commitment to yourself to never stop learning, growing, and evolving. Set goals, take on new challenges, and surround yourself with people who inspire you to be your best self. Remember, life is too short to be stuck in a rut. Embrace the unknown, challenge your limits, and never stop exploring the amazing potential that lies within you. Chapter 6. Lastly, making impulsive decisions. Acting without thinking can result in negative consequences and regret. We've all been there. That moment when you act on impulse without thinking through the consequences. Maybe you said something hurtful in the heat of the moment, or maybe you made a big purchase that you couldn't really afford. Whatever the case may be, impulsive decisions rarely lead to positive outcomes. Look, I get it. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. But there's a big difference between intuition and impulsivity. Intuition is that quiet inner voice that guides you towards what's right for you. Impulsivity is that loud, demanding voice that often leads to regret. Before you make a major decision, take some time to think it through. Weigh the pros and cons, consider the potential consequences, and don't be afraid to seek advice from trusted friends or family members. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Taking a moment to pause and reflect can save you a whole lot of trouble in the long run. So there you have it, 6 signs that a woman might be making some questionable choices. Now remember, these are just observations, not judgments. We all make mistakes, and we all have room for improvement. The key is to be self-aware, to learn from our experiences, and to strive to make better choices in the future. Life is a journey, and it's full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. Sometimes we make choices that lead us down the wrong path, but the important thing is to recognize when we've veered off course and to have the courage to course correct. Remember, you are in control of your own destiny. You have the power to make choices that will lead you towards a brighter, happier, and more fulfilling future. So go out there and be the best version of yourself. Make smart choices, learn from your mistakes, and never be afraid to ask for help when you need it. And remember, I'm always here to offer a little tough love and a dose of reality when you need it most. Remember, these signs are not definitive and can be changed with self-awareness and effort. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions.